the most recent, I guess, Doctor Who project that's come out and kind of blown everyone away with its relative quality, I suppose. Doctor Who
Yeah.
Redacted, the new Doctor Who audio series on BBC Sounds, which revolves around a group of, I guess, teenagers who have a podcast where they discuss one major conspiracy theory, that being of the blue box, aka
I'm coming for them as well.
No, do you reckon we
Another
could
podcast to
collab?
come for.
Like, oh
yeah,
that'd be class. No, and yeah, basically the whole thing is like the narrative framing devices. They run a podcast and they discuss all the like Doctor conspiracy theories, which are actual episodes of the show. But people are forgetting that the Doctor even existed, and people who knew the Doctor are being erased or redacted, hence the title. And yeah, I recently just listened to it and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I listened to it the other day for the first time. I deliberately held off because I think after Legend of the Sea Devils and that trailer, I kind of did want just a break from Doctor Who for a bit. I saw people speaking about it quite positively on Twitter. I was like, okay, I'll give this a bash, you know? I'm somewhat intrigued. Listened to episode 1, thought it was alright. Midway through episode 2, I was completely hooked, and yeah, it's very well done.
Yeah, I was really surprised. There's a few things about it that surprised me, but yeah, I was in a similar boat to you in terms of reaction to it, because obviously, you know, me being me, like, the Chibnall era doesn't exactly have the most positive taste in my mouth, and I knew it was, you know, starring Jodie Whittaker, so it was kind of present day. I know it's not Chibnall Doctor Who, but it is like associated with it. So as a result,
it's
I
all
was
through
kind
the
of
era.
like, as a result, I was kind of like, I might not. But then, as I said, I saw people positively talking about it. I was like, yeah, why not? And you said, oh, we should do a podcast episode on it. So I was like, fair enough. I listened to it, and I was really pleasantly surprised by its quality. Honestly, I think I was saying to you before, it surprises me they didn't think of doing this sooner. Like, this specific idea. Like of a conspiracy theory podcast about like the Doctor.
Yeah, because it makes sense.
It makes complete sense.
I think if I was to compare it to anything, it's almost akin to that of Linda from Series 2. It's kind of just LGBT Linda.
Yeah, essentially. And I think Linda even gets a name drop in like one of the episodes.
Yeah, it does.
Are you from that mad Linda lot? And they're like, no, we're a decent, you know, actual person. And it's like, yeah. So that's cool. I think something that I was glad of was, I was talking to you about this before we started recording. I was really worried the whole podcast bit was going to feel a bit dated and tacky and kind of boomery and like, for lack of a better term, you know, just outdated. Because like, I feel like when influencers tend to get put into traditional media, they feel really, really, I don't know what the word is, cringe? I think cringe is probably the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's a fair...
And tacky, like... I'm immediately brought to that Gabriella woman from Praxius who has like the travel vlog.
Right, yeah.
And like her friend dies and she's just like, anyway.
Yeah, because they always overdo it and it's like, it always comes across quite out of touch.
Yeah. So
something that I think made Redacted work as well as it did was just how good chemistry like everyone has with one another.
Yeah, and it all feels natural.
Like it does just feel like a group of friends.
Yeah, it doesn't feel forced. It feels really organic, which I was really pleased with, because I think that's one of my problems with television Doctor Who at the moment, to be honest, is sometimes the dynamics don't feel authentic. You can feel the hand of the author, so to speak.
Yeah, we're always told how much the characters care for one another, but we never actually see it.
Yeah, we never just see, the main characters of Doctor Who, like, hanging out. And that's not even just a Chibnall era exclusive thing. Like, I reckon New Who could do with more of that in general. But, obviously there is less of it in, like, the Chibnall era, even as opposed to some of the New Who counterparts. But with this, what I really liked about it was before you get into the whole mystery of it, like, you get scenes of them just chilling and being friends and talking about this subject they're all interested in. And it just feels really organic and... Yeah,
that's the thing. For something that's like 20 minutes, I think it's 20 minutes per episode, it has time to breathe.
Yeah, and I think for me...
And it's like, it's not scared to like focus on the characters.
Yeah, and I think for me, 20 minutes is about like the absolute perfect length for something like this per episode. Because I've said before, one of my main sort of struggles with Big Finish is I have quite a short attention span, and some of those can go on for quite a while. So,
I
think 20 minutes an episode... per week, I think it is, for me is like
Yeah,
perfect.
how many?
I think it's 10.
How many are there going
I
to be in
think
total? Okay.
someone said 10, so they've got plenty of time to
that's a good number.
flesh stuff out. And to be honest, like, what I'm liking about it so far already is that it doesn't feel like it's introducing too much. Everything feels well paced and like just well done. And yeah, something else I was really worried about, again, something we mentioned before we started, was they obviously bring back some fan favorite characters in this little audio like adventure thing. And one of those characters was RANI Chandra. Now, for those of you who know me at all, you'll know I'm a massive Sarah Jane Adventures fan. I loved it as a kid. It was kind of my substitute for Doctor Who because, like, my family didn't like it besides, like, me. And they were all like, let's watch Britain's Got Talent in the evenings. And I was like, no. Hence my undying hatred for talent shows. Yeah. So I was really hyped, but nervous to see how they were going to handle Rani, and I think they handled her really well. Like, she feels like a natural fit for the story.
Yeah, and the thing is, she also just feels like she has just been like that is that character again. It doesn't feel like she's particularly changed that much as well. It does, as soon as she turned up, it then kind of felt like we're in a Sarah Jane Adventures story, if that makes sense.
It also didn't feel like she hadn't evolved at all. To a weird degree.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's enough. I think it's a difficult line to strike when you're bringing back older characters in like any franchise. You can either over-egg it and make them change so much to the point where they don't even feel like the same character anymore, or you could basically leave them exactly as they were when we last saw them, despite it being like 20, 30 years later, however long. You know, obviously less in Rani's case.
It was just like, it felt like a natural evolution.
Like the perfect middle, where... You know, she's a journalist now, she's writing articles for Time and The Guardian and all these other things.
Yeah.
And Vogue and whatever, but like, at the same time she felt like her. And it was just, it was a really natural fit. And I thought she did a really good job. Obviously, we'd only heard a little bit from her, but I really like the idea of people who knew the Doctor's memories being wiped. I think that's a really clever... I think that's a really organic way of getting characters from the past into a story. Because, like, characters are being wiped who knew the Doctor. That's inevitably going to lead to some familiar faces being involved in this. So it makes total sense to me for those to be included. You know, it's not like one of them just randomly teleports in and goes, "You missed me, right?"
What? That would be great. It's just Craig Owens.
Craig. Speaking of Craig, did you see James Corden was the 14th Doctor? According to Stephen Colbert.
No.
Can you imagine if that's true? It's not. Like, it's obviously Stephen Colbert doing a joke.
Yeah. Obviously, like, I did see people taking it seriously on Twitter, and I was like, obviously James Corden is not going to be the 14th Doctor. Come on, guys.
People have like no awareness of jokes.
Just imagine if he was. Just imagine if Russell, like, he was another secret incarnation of the Doctor or something. It's like, here he is, the James Corden Doctor, leading the 60th anniversary.
What it?
I think I would just become an NMD.
Yeah,
like, that would be my NMD era.
Yeah. No, I'd probably agree. Like, I would just be like, this is terrible. Like, no. No, but yeah. Back to Redacted, I guess. I just thought, since you brought up for Craig Owens, I was like, just my mind jumped to it, but... Yeah,
I had forgotten about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say on it other than James Corden's not the 14th Doctor. Don't worry, chill. But yeah, Redacted, I really enjoyed it. There was more things I wanted to bring up now, but off the top of my head, I can't remember them. I thought, obviously, I can't speak for, you know, the representation's quality in terms of like accuracy, but I thought the trans character, I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I'm not good with character names.
Felt really natural and really funny as well. And I really enjoyed her presence and how she was kind of like not really on board with everything, but at the same time like kind of taking it in her stride. She felt like a really natural person.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's not like they didn't address it at all, but when they did, it was like, it felt natural.
And it was that fear that I had, you know, not that I thought like it was going to be bad, but because it is the BBC, I just did worry it was going to feel like an old man writing young people.
Well, I think it was written by the people involved,
it was written by, I think it was written by a lot of them, which...
Juno... Someone? I think her name was Juno.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that it feels organic, is all I can say. It didn't feel like it was trying too hard. Do you know what I mean? Like, it felt...
No, yeah.
Like, yeah, this makes sense. I know people like this in real life.
Yeah, that's what I liked about the whole thing. Like, I think just speaking purely like as a vibe, it just felt like mates doing a thing that they enjoy.
Yeah.
And then it also just happened to like get wrapped up in the universe of Doctor Who. And I really appreciated that.
It did kind of feel like if we were in the Doctor Who universe, this would kind of be what it was like. Like, functionally, like, it's very similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like, they are essentially just fans.
Yeah, essentially.
Speaking about, yeah. But, you know, obviously from their perspective, it's like different conspiracy theories and stuff like that.
For us, it's a science fiction show, but the general idea is the same. So yeah, like, it really related to me just on that level as well. Like, as someone who does do videos and that sort of thing, like, I've not had characters who felt more natural in that sense to me before, I don't think. Because as I've said, I normally find the whole, let's do internet influencer characters thing a bit cringe. But here it's like, yeah, this checks out. And I like how...
Yeah.
I like how it makes sense as well for, like, the past characters to be listening as well. Because Rani makes reference to, I've been listening to your podcast messages. You could do with better microphones. It's like, checks out. You know, that's what a lot of people complain about, mic quality. That was the first comment I ever got, you know. Was someone saying how shit the mic quality was. But it turned out, you know, he was a really nice guy in the end. There was just a level of authenticity and genuineness to it that I really liked. And, like, you can tell it's a story that they were passionate about telling. And I think it really comes across.
Because that's the thing. I think before going into it and reading about it, it was something that I kind of felt that I could maybe brush off and was like, I'll probably get to it eventually. Like, I was never... It was not something that I was ever, like, looking forward to. Like, I really need to, like, check this out. Yeah. But then, I think just listening to it, and it just captures that, like, essence of the show that I love, if that makes sense. And its characters, and just even the references and stuff like that. There's a lot of RTD references in there, like, around that time.
Part of me does believe the specific use of Russell T Davies era, like, events as references was deliberate, because it's like, what events in the Doctor Who universe do people remember? Well, the RTD ones.
I think it's partly that, and also when you think of world invasion, like Earth invasion stories, a lot of them do come from
in the modern era.
And I think we were speaking about before we started recording. This was written like before, like series. I guess this, like, what was that Dalek special as well?
Revolution.
Like with the drone Daleks. Yeah.
Was it written before that?
I assume so, because they make references to. Yeah, this has been the pipeline for, like, years, I'm sure. Like, I remember, like, reading, like, 3 years ago or something.
I didn't know that, but if that is the case, I definitely did feel... I said to you before, it felt, like, older for some reason. Like, it felt... Because you get references to Ryan Sinclair and Graham O'Brien as well, you know, having recently disappeared mysteriously. And, like, for us, that happened about, 5 years ago? And obviously they've left, you know, nearly, like, 2 years ago. So, like, for us... That was quite a while ago, so I think that's why it's kind of felt older, but it wasn't to its detriment. I did just notice, like, I wonder if this was written before Flux. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw something, like, from this, and it was, like, 3 years ago or something, that this was in the works.
Interesting. Well, they've clearly spent, like, a lot of time on it, I think. As I said, it feels really natural. I'll say as well, I love how rebellious it felt, as well, and how genuine it felt in that sense, because, again, it was on the BBC, I wasn't sure how much they'd be able to get away with. But they just straight up call out Rupert Murdoch for, like, his control over the media and stuff, and I'm like, alright, you're doing good. Like,
I can get behind this.
I'm vibing with this, because I was sort of like, it's the BBC, is it going to feel genuine to how, like, young people talk on a podcast? But, like, no.
Yeah, the BBC are weird, because, like, at one point they can come across like they're trying way too hard, and other times they'll just be, like, outright, like, right-wing, and you're like... It's very hard to strike. Like, you never know what you're going to get with the BBC.
And in this case, like,
it's just going to be really out of touch.
Rare instances of, like, not feeling out of touch or right wing.
I think it's because all the creators involved, like,
are, like, relatively young.
This is very clearly their views, and they're just like it feels like they're just writing that in, you know.
Yeah.
It's an honest representation of the people.
What I really hope is that this is more of a sign of things to come with Russell. Obviously, I know they're not connected, but I really enjoyed seeing that element of rebelliousness again in Redacted, and I hope.
Yeah, well, I mean, Russell was always been, like, politically charged in his writing all throughout. Like, he literally blows up Downing Street.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he literally has an alien 9/11 occur, essentially. And then they're like, they're using a terror event to justify, violent action. It's like, I wonder what this is a commentary on, Russell. It's like, no, it's like I said, I hope we get more of that, and I think Redacted is a good. It's why I like political commentary in like science fiction, because it does it well.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel, forced in. But yeah, what else was there to say about it?
I think that's about it. I mean, we'll continue. We'll probably continue covering it like as it comes out.
Yeah, the thing is with it, obviously, there is only 2 episodes at the moment, so a lot of it is kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially the first episode.
Yeah, it was mostly just setting up.
Establishing new characters, the general vibe of what's going on. I think the one thing I will say, obviously, I know Jodie Whittaker was marketed as this being her first audio project. Like, if you're going into it with the expectation of it being that, you might be a little bit disappointed, because Jodie's not really in it that much, so far at least.
Yeah, I was never expecting her to be that big a presence in it anyway. But yeah, she's just kind of like, I assume she's just going to be like trickles throughout here and there.
It didn't bother me, but I know for a fact, like, it might bother some, because I know that, like, I think Radio Times, or one of those, or Screen or something, said it was like, new Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who audios. It's like, they're not really that.
It's like, it's technically true, but at the same time, if you're going into it thinking this is going to be like a 13th Doctor story, then
you're
probably going to be a little disappointed.
Yeah. That's the only thing I would say about it. And I don't see it as a bad thing, because I think the story they tell on its own is good enough. I don't mind. But I'm just saying, if you want 13th Doctor...
I guess similarly, even just like Love and Monsters, like, going into that expecting a 10th Doctor story, it's more about the side characters.
Yeah, that's a good
Doctor.
way of describing it. I think it's just, it was just the way it was marketed by other people, not even the BBC, just other people, I think, that might give off the wrong impression. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure... if you are going to listen to it, don't go in thinking like, oh yes, we're going to get new 13th Doctor stories. Like, it's not really that. But yeah, I think that's about everything. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed it. Thought it was really... it really surprised me with its relative quality.